Katie.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
What's your dog's name?
Myrtle.
Myrtle? Why is your dog named Myrtle?
I don't know because it's a name from a video game that my boyfriend and I play.
What game is that?
Rocket League.
Rocket League, the game where you drive a car and you play soccer.
That's right.
Do you call it soccer or football?
Soccer.
Okay, all right.
Are we in this already? Do we just start right from the jump?
Yeah, we're going. This is happening.
Okay.
Do you want to start over? We can totally start over.
No, I love it. I just was hoping I'd have a minute to tell you what you've meant to me in my life before we started, but we'll go ahead.
Let's do it on the air.
Yeah, let's.
Let's pump me up. What do you got? Let's hear it.
Your music, I have an older brother, so your music was what made him want to learn to play guitar. I have heard him stumbling through that song Eminem's so many times from the room next to him. And then just your albums were so big in my life. They were like my favorite thing. You guys were my absolute favorite.
Thank you.
The thing I loved is that you had the songs, the silly and the fun, but there was always a couple that spoke to me about, the pain I was feeling at the time. Anyway, you're just wonderful. And I'm so happy.
Thank you so much.
You.
Oh, likewise. Yeah. Great meeting you. I have a question about being a sports announcer. Do you do vocal warm-ups before you have to announce?
This is my first year announcing. And so,
okay.
What I've learned is that you probably should. Luckily, I don't have to do play-by-play, so I'm not talking the entire time. But our play-by-play guy probably does. It's a lot of talking.
Right.
So maybe, but we don't have to do like singer vocal warm-ups. You all do crazy stuff. We'd probably just do like, we'd be like unique New York.
Yeah, exactly.
Enunciation stuff. But I don't do that.
How good are you at stats? Do you have a lot of the stats at hand?
Terrible.
Or are there people in your ear telling you stuff the whole time?
So again, first year, so I can only speak to my 1 year of experience. This was the part that scared me the most is I was like, I'm not a stats person. I'm in sports for the emotion. I'm in it for the marvel of it all. I love to watch it. It's a show. But I can't remember someone's ERA from 3 years ago. And so I was terrified that part was going to slow me down. It's essentially an open book test. You have notes in front of you. You can compile them. They have researchers that can get you stuff if you know what you're looking for specifically. One game we had a guy in our ear telling us stuff, but it's not common.
Okay.
I think it's kind of like user preference. Whoever's in the booth, it's kind of up to them. And I'm still figuring out what works for me.
How do you know it's your turn to talk? I was watching that show Winning Time. Did you watch that show about the Lakers?
No, I haven't had time yet, but my boyfriend did, and a lot of my friends did. I heard it was fantastic.
It was, but they were when Pat Riley was being an announcer, Chick Hearn was there, and he would close his fist when it was time for Pat Riley to shut up and open his fist when it was time for him to talk. How do you know when it's your turn to talk?
Again, one of the harder things about the job, especially because I'm the third person. So usually it's typically two, but there have been many 3-man booths throughout the years. But so it's like, guy who says the thing that happened, and then guy who puts that in context or like adds a little bit of story to it. So the third person can then either, in my eyes, ask a question, make a joke, or further the conversation if they have something to add, or if they had a conversation that day that adds something to that. And so figuring out not only which of those three I'm going to do, but if there's time for it, because while you're talking, you're watching a baseball game and there's a rhythm to that baseball game. And at any minute, in the middle of the greatest story you've ever told, someone might get a hit and you've got to stop and get back to so like figuring that traffic out of it, I try to just watch the game as if I were watching it as a fan. And then when I feel compelled, I say something. And then I also try to find other times, because when you're watching it as a fan, you don't talk that much, but I do talk a lot. So I'm just trying to add the stuff I think needs added. There's some games where I feel like, I barely said anything, but I also feel like a lot happened in the game and it wasn't needed as much that day.
Right.
But you're talking to me 11, 12 games now into doing this, the hardest job I've ever done. So if my insight is off, you're going to have to take everything I say with a grain of salt.
Okay. Your first song that you've chosen for us today is No Doubt's 16. Why'd you choose this one?
So Tragic Kingdom was the first CD I ever had. My aunt, my very cool aunt, who's responsible for most of my music taste, no offense to my mom and dad, she bought me this along with the Pink Garbage album that had like the boa on the front.
Yeah.
And so she bought me these two, and every song front to back on Tragic Kingdom, I love. It's, and I can't separate the nostalgia maybe from the music. I'm no brilliant musician, so you can tell me how wrong I am with all my music today. But like this album is just, there's no skips. It's every song is good. And I think 16 is the one that as a young girl growing up, I changed the lyrics every year to like 13 or 14. But it just spoke to me in like my angst in a way that I hadn't had before. And it allowed me, a girl, to be like kind of angry at the world. And I loved it for that.
What is your favorite sport to watch in person?
Hockey.
Yeah? Why?
Because I think there isn't a bad seat in the house.
Okay.
And honestly, the closer you get, sometimes the worse it is. I think above the glass are all the best seats, but I'm getting too specific. There's just a lot of action, and I find it easier to see the puck. I think a lot of people that watch hockey on TV think they don't like it because they can't keep track of. Remember when Fox tried to put a tracker on the puck to be like, it's right here? They put like a flaming tail on it and got, lit up for it. But they were appealing to people that are like, I can't see it. But in person, the sounds of hockey, the smells of hockey, the fact that you're entering like a temperature controlled environment is very interesting. Like everybody's cold, even if it's hot out. I don't know. I just love hockey. I watched a lot of it as a kid. And I think maybe, again, this could be nostalgia, but I think it's the best of the ones to watch in person, or basketball. Because in basketball, you can get really close to the athletes. And that's wild to me. I can't believe they're allowed to get that close still.
Hockey arenas are the best venues to play in.
Are they?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you why. Because every band is playing in the dark rather than when you play in an amphitheater. The first couple bands are playing and people are still filing in, and it's light outside, so you don't get their light show. And every band inside a hockey arena gets a light show, and it's a little bit cooler than playing outside. It is temperature controlled, so it's not as miserable as an artist. What do you think about the Avalanche taking over All the Small Things as a song?
I mean, what do you think about it? Who cares what I think about it? I think it's great. I think
it's awesome.
My generation looks at you guys with such hard eyes. You guys had the best jams of our youth.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Do you think that the Avalanche should allow me to come to their parade and hop on the float?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I've seen lesser people. Yes, you are absolute. Have you asked? You should ask.
I'm going to ask. The only thing is that I'm supposed to fly up to be with my wife in Idaho for the 4th of July stuff, but I think she'd understand if I had to cancel that flight and go hang out with some boys that just won a hockey tournament, you know?
Oh, that would be awesome. And that's a good wife you got there.
Yes. Let's talk Third Eye Blind, Narcolepsy.
That whole album I loved. There just something about Third Eye Blind to me always sounds like summer. It sounds like the cool summers when summer meant something and you loved it and you like drove around, you had gotten your license recently and you're drinking an iced coffee. Like that's what listening to Third Eye Blind is like for me. And Narcolepsy, I couldn't even remember if it was a hit. I don't know if it was on the radio. Music works so differently now that I feel like it's all blended for me. But Narcolepsy was such a good song that had so many different elements to it. It changed so much. It's so dynamic. And I just love that song. I'm not using smart music words to describe music because I don't know many.
Dynamic is a great word. Yeah, for sure.
Sick. All right, good.
I'm on a train.
What would be your walkout song if you were a baseball player?
So this is the hardest question. I think about this when I'm traveling, because I travel a lot. I have to fly across the country for this job. And this is the question. I'm like, someone's going to ask you this soon, and you better have an answer. And I don't have an answer yet.
Okay.
What would yours be? Make a pitch to me. I'll collect I'm still in the info gathering stage. Okay. So let me gather
for
info
myself or for you?
Well, whichever. I was going to say for you, but if you want to pick one for me.
All Star by Smash Mouth. Why not?
Yeah, it would work. It would work.
I don't know. That was the first one that came to mind. And it would probably, like, people would get sick of it real fast.
You would hate to go out there using it and get a hit and like get on a hit streak, because then you wouldn't be able to change it, because it would be, and you'd be stuck with Smash Mouth All-Star deep into the postseason.
What is your most iconic moment in sports? What do you think is the most iconic moment in all of sports history?
Oh, God. What a terrible...
Sorry. We can skip it.
No, it's okay because there's so many different ways to take it. I think sports
Yeah.
wise, I feel like that Olympic hockey USA Canada moment.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think, historic wise, Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier in baseball.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think those are the two. I'll put those up there.
How is it working with Apple TV Plus?
Awesome. They're such a great company to work with. They have this vision. I mean, me even being in a booth would never exist except somewhere like Apple TV Plus. My background is I'm a late night sports TV host. That's what I've always done.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the vision that Apple TV Plus had for baseball was like, let's have a little bit of fun with this game that we all love, America's game. Let's have a little bit of fun with it and approach it with a little bit of curiosity and wonder, as opposed to just the way that it is, which people love and there is an audience for. But I think that there's an audience of people that think they don't like baseball. And I think they do. They just haven't been shown it in a way that appeals to them yet.
It took me somebody explaining it to me to understand baseball.
It's a weird thing, sports, in the way that we are about it, about like knowing equals loving instead of it being about enjoying. I mean, this is just my personal opinion and I could talk about this for days, but I just think that like sports could stand to be a little bit more welcoming and a little bit more like, if you don't know, but you're a person that's here to support, come on in. Like, what do you need to know? I can help you. What don't you get? We don't get that either. That actually is the thing about it. That doesn't make sense. You can just kind of make it less intimidating to people so that they can enjoy it. And so that's what Apple TV Plus wants and what I'm excited to do with them, I hope.
That's rad. Tell me about the Offsprings. The Kids Aren't All Right.
Oh, I mean, you tell me about it. What a jam. That song is so good. The Offspring is one of the bands that my cool aunt, showed me. My cool aunt and my cool uncle in the basement at my grandmother's house. They would play like Green Day for me and my brother and the Offspring. She loved the Offspring. And look, I love their songs that I heard more on the radio, but also this, every time I hear this song, I smile. I'm like, this song absolutely rules. And it just makes you feel cool when you listen to it.
When we were young, the future was so bright.
What is the best video game of all time?
I want to say Uncharted, but I don't
so
want to
good.
get yelled at. It's just
Why
so
would you get
good.
yelled at?
I don't know, because people don't like when women have opinions on video games. So these are just my personal opinions, and I don't think that means they're the greatest of all time. I also really loved the most recent God of War. The story of that was, and I didn't think it was a game I would like. I'm not usually a slash and bash, but the story was so beautiful and it was so well done that I would put that up there too.
Okay. I disagree, but awesome.
Damn.
What was your favorite Guitar Hero song to play?
I want to answer this honestly. Let me think. The coolest thing about Guitar Hero for me, who is a music lover, but not, I don't speak the language, was that it made you realize parts of guitar solos that you never heard before. You'd be like, oh, I never heard that. But now that I know, I push blue there. And then anytime I hear a song, I'd be like, oh, I appreciate it more now because I'm listening to it more closely. All I can think of is, what's that Cliffs of Dover, how hard that one was. But I can't think of what my favorite one was. I should have an answer for you for this. Let me think on it. I don't have good recall, Mark Hoppus. I'm sorry.
It's all right. We'll move on from that. If you think of it, you can throw it out later on.
Okay.
What's the best console ever made?
We weren't allowed to have that many, so I really wish I could speak on this better. It was probably N64, but we didn't. We rented that for a week. So my parents were very like, we just bought you this. We're not buying you another one. So, but I mean, the PlayStation 3 was great. I rocked with that for a while. PlayStation 4 is also great. Yeah, they're all good.
So your PlayStation more than Xbox?
Yeah, I just think because once I'm used to it, it's tough I'm old now. So it'd be like teaching an old dog an entirely new controller. And I just can't. So yeah, I think once you pick, I don't think I realized what a commitment it was when I originally made the decision. But now that I'm this deep in it, it just is what it is.
Tracy Bonham's Mother, Mother.
Another great song. I forgot about this song. And because music is so, you can just like find it all now, which I don't even know if kids appreciate how cool that is. I stumbled into it somehow and was like, I haven't heard this in years. And man, it was such a good song. Again, it's female anger. It's a thing that I think I was looking for because I was frustrated a lot as a kid and I didn't feel understood. But yeah, heard the song again recently and was like, it still rings perfectly true.
My
Our producer, Matt, is a huge Angels fan. And before I got on the phone with you, we were talking about the bench clearing brawl the other day.
Man.
Do you think that the Angels were right in throwing that pitch? Justified?
I don't like the fact that we litigate the parts of the morality of the game with like literal scary violence. Like if that is what he was doing, throwing at him, I wasn't watching the game. I've obviously seen the clip of the brawl. Then no, of course I don't think that's a thing that they should do. We've had pitchers, I don't know if did they say anything about the ball? Because the ball's been an issue this season and pitchers have been saying it slips out of their hands.
Right.
Which of course makes the whole situation murkier because then you're like, there's a ready excuse if he was. It's like you don't really know. I've always thought the practice of like this guy did something I perceived as wrong, so I'm gonna throw very hard at him. I've always thought that was silly, and but I know it's part of a culture that I'm like getting more attached to now. So I'm not trying to offend anybody by disagreeing with them. It just feels like get over it. You don't have to threaten to hurt. That's scary.
How about, speaking of silly, how about the pitchers in the bullpens running out of the bullpens alongside one another?
The best thing, I don't know if it was just like the first time I saw it that perfectly clearly, but I thought the same thing. I'm like, so you guys don't want to fight on your way to the fight, but once you get there, you better square up. That's the funniest thing. Yeah, that was pretty incredible. I just like that they're like, we're also supporting. We're here. We're here to shove.
How was drunk history?
I wish I could tell you. I don't remember a second of it. It was good enough that I did it 3, maybe 4 times. Genuinely, Mark, the scariest part is waiting to watch it back because you don't remember if you were funny or not because you don't remember talking. And so you're just waiting to find out if you're one of the people who's really funny or if you were one of the people who was really drunk. And that part's a little scary, but man, what a good show. Rest in peace.
You were a bartender. What can we as bar goers, I don't even know what we call patrons. Thank you very much. What can we do to make bartenders' lives easier?
If there's more than one of you getting a drink, gather the order to like a team captain and then have that team captain all at once relay it to the bartender when they say, can I help you? When it's finally your turn, don't be like, I'm ordering my drink. And then what do you guys want? Like it's more, it's easier if you've already gathered the intel and you've got it ready. Your bartender will be very grateful for that if it's busy.
What's the worst drink order that someone could come to you with?
Oh, so when I worked at like a high volume college bar, the worst was anything that required me to put something on the rim or to muddle or to strain, anything that required extra dishes or like a lemon drop shot where you had to get the lemons and you had to sugar rim the glass. At some points I would just grab a stack of sugar packets and toss them with a pile of lemons. And I was like, go do it at your table. I don't have time for this.
All right, your last song is the Matches Papercut Skin. I worked on this Matches record, but you didn't choose one of the songs that I worked on, but still.
No, wait, did you work on Dee Dee My Dough?
No, I didn't. I worked on what Katie said.
Yes!
Yeah, I did that.
Okay, that's fine. Obviously, I love that one. I just didn't want to pick the one that had my name in it.
Oh, well, there you go.
This album's so good. Another one that I just ran into and was probably one of my top 3 albums in college that I just listened to a lot. And then somehow in the transference of phones or getting a new computer or whatever, I just lost a lot of my music and never interacted with this again until recently. Listened to the album again and was like, what? It's so good.
So good.
Is it famous? Do people know about it? I don't know. I can't gauge that anymore.
I think it's very successful, like underground. I think like the people that know it love it.
Then how the hell did I find it? I dated a guy in a band in college. That might have been it.
Last couple questions before we let you go. What app do you use most on your phone?
Ooh, Twitter.
Okay. Does it just make you mad? I use Twitter all the time, and I'm constantly like, why do I keep touching the hot stove?
I know. I used to use it more and I had a healthier relationship with it. As of late, I'm trying to use it less because it started to make me mad again. But I had gotten to a point where I was like, oh no, I can just learn and read and talk. But yeah, it's getting pretty bad on there. So it'll probably be, probably Grubhub then. It's probably my second most used app.
Okay. That's a good one. Okay. You go on a road trip. You're driving all night long. You pull into a gas station or a truck stop at like 2 or 3 in the morning. What do you walk out with as far as snacks?
Ooh, Snyder's honey mustard and onion pretzel pieces.
Nice.
Never had those. Yeah, those
Yeah.
are good. Probably gonna need something sweet, sweet candy. So maybe like probably Starburst.
Okay.
Maybe like a bag of Starburst that they have, and then like a Gatorade, probably a Frost Glacier Freeze, the light blue Gatorade,
Okay.
a Dr Pepper, a water, but I'm probably not going to drink it, but I'm buying it to make myself feel better.
Right.
Did I get a chocolate at peanut butter cups, Reese's peanut butter cups?
Awesome. Thank you very much for your time. What are you going to do for the rest of the day?
I'm going to take my dog for a walk, and then I'm going to listen to all of this music that I just went through to try to find songs that I like to send to you, and probably try to clean my house.
Awesome. Have a great walk with Myrtle. Thank you very much for your time. And people can catch you on Apple TV Plus calling the MLB games.
That's right, Friday Night Baseball. Yeah, thank you so much, Mark. This was so great. You're the greatest.
Oh, thank you very much. Nice talking with you.